Good evening, everybody. Once again, welcome to Talking Sports with Ronnie and Johnny here on Cricket Access TV. We're here for you every single Wednesday night from 7 to 8, alongside of my co-host, Johnny Dakota. I am Ronnie Perrin. Johnny, my friend, how are you? How was your week?
My week's been great, and once again, we have another
perspective, yeah.
Perspective,
fill in.
co-host.
Yeah. You're really hard at this right now. You're working hard. I'm surprised. I really am.
Ronnie.
I'm actually starting to take this seriously.
Your days are numbered, kid. I don't mean, don't take that personal.
Oh, it's not personal.
We've been friends for 40 years.
I got a contract. That's all I know anyways.
I want to talk to you about that contract after. Right?
There's issues with that contract too?
Issues, yeah.
Well, anyways.
That gray area.
With us right now, celebrating his 50th birthday tonight.
Unbelievable, huh?
50th birthday.
He's the baby today.
He is, that's right. He's actually the baby.
Yeah.
By far.
Jimmy Latham, very good friends of ours. I've known Jimmy for a long time. We actually played softball together when we were kids, long time ago. Jimmy, it's great to have you here.
Thank you very much. I really love coming.
We hope you bring some insight, because I've been doing this all by myself.
Oh, I know. I know you had to replace him. That's all right.
There's a lot of weight.
I'm the
a lot of
ankle
weight on
breaker.
his shoulders.
Yeah, that's
Did you ever see me on your shoulders? Couldn't be.
All right, this is my thing to kick off.
Go ahead, knock yourself out.
All right, maybe some people like this, maybe they'll. I say we cancel all of Major League Baseball's schedule for next year and just go to the Cubs and the Red Sox to start the World Series.
Done deal.
What
Talk
do
to
you think?
anybody right now.
So
done deal.
some people lose money. I get it. All right, maybe
Maybe a
the
little
owners lose a couple of bucks. I get it.
All right.
So we'll make the series a 21-game series.
You got that? That's it. Just have
Red
the whole.
Sox, we'll do a 21-game series. All right, and do it that way.
When are we going to have this though? After the baseball classic, because that's this year, isn't it? Then there's the World Baseball Classic in 2017.
Yeah, we'll do something like
Let all the players play in the World Baseball Classic,
let
and
them
then
do
when
what
it's
they
over
want.
with, just the Cubs and Red Sox.
and give them vacation. Send them all to Hawaii
Yeah.
for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
All right, and then we'll have like a 1-month World Series. That's it.
Something.
What do you think?
Listen,
What a
I am
signing.
in. Boy, I'll tell you.
Are you serious?
This Dombrowski just kind of impressed me right now. Let me tell you, the set of cojones on this guy.
Wow.
Okay, giving up some of the things that he gave. Now, we're going to talk about that. And Jimmy, I want you to jump in. Anytime you like, buddy, at any time, let us know how you feel. Okay, now, let's start off with, obviously, the big trade was Chris Sale, okay, for Chris Sale. Giving up Mercado, the other guy,
I don't think it's
the pitcher.
I
look
think Kopech is
Kopech.
he's the
okay.
guy.
Okay. And then two other, what they said was two prospects. Okay, now, what I want to find out from you guys is when I hear the word prospect, okay, to me, you can give up any prospect you want, okay? To get a guy like Chris Sale, who is what, 27 years old maybe? 28 years old?
27, yeah.
Yeah, 27.
27,
You're right. Yes,
28 years
27,
old,
yep.
okay? They have him under contract for 3 years at the same salary that Clay Buchholz is making, okay? Which, now again, we'll talk about this in a little bit afterwards, but I don't know how he's going to come into this clubhouse making $13 million and being a better pitcher than a guy that's making $31 million a year, okay?
Do you believe this?
So, but what I did hear is that David Price was the first guy to call him and welcome
That's
to
a
the
class
team.
act. That's a
okay?
class move.
So, but again, you got to remember now, Chris Sale has had incidents, okay, in Chicago where he got a little upset and he, cut up some clothes.
Chris
and
Sale is
did a
not
few
going to
things.
sit at his locker for 1 hour at the end of the game and start talking to Dan Shaughnessy and go, Dan, anything you want.
No,
You got
no.
one question, and that's it.
Yeah.
You got one question, and then I'm off.
John
Okay,
Farrell
so-
said he loved that about him. He said the guy, he's got a lot of fire in him, and he'll take that with him. He's Ron Guidry. That's who he is. He's Ron Guidry. He's
good analysis.
fire.
This guy-
978-957-4243 if you want to weigh in with us.
Okay, let's all talk about it.
Sure.
The last 50 years, has there ever been on paper, a more dominant top 3 pitching rotation that
Well,
you're
I'll tell
seeing
you,
right now?
you have to go way back. You really do. You have to go back to probably like the Baltimore Orioles of the
Palmer,
of the
McNally,
1970s type of thing.
Yeah, good. That's a good
okay,
one, Ronnie.
probably somewhere
Yep,
in that.
50 years.
Probably
Almost
somewhere.
50 years,
Probably
huh?
somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cubs seem to think that they have that right now. I don't see that, but I mean, if you look at it on paper, you got a guy. You've got two of the best pitchers in baseball over the last 2 years on the same rotation, and a Cy Young winner.
Who's
Award
figured it
winner,
out?
Okay.
Who's figured it out?
Who is now obviously
A
a
bona
better
fide.
pitcher, bona fide major league pitcher. On top of that, now you throw in the next two guys that you're going to put into that rotation, which will more likely be Erod will probably be the fourth starter in this rotation. So now you have a Clay Buchholz, You have a Stephen Wright, because he's going to come back healthy, okay? And you also have a
Pomeranz.
Pomerantz, okay?
3 guys going for the 5th
So,
slot.
so here's my thing. Dombrowski came out and said that he's done wheeling and dealing. And again, a minor thing that they also did was they picked up this kid from Milwaukee who's supposed to be a superb,
Really,
superb reliever. Supposed to be a superb
He's your
eighth
eighth
inning
inning guy.
guy.
He's your
okay?
eighth inning guy.
And you got to remember now too. We also got Carson Smith that's going to come back next year healthy. So now you're looking at 7th inning, 8th inning, 9th inning, pretty much solid.
Joe Kelly.
Obviously, okay. And then you've got Kelly who could probably come in the 6th inning.
So you're asking
okay?
your
So-
starters to go 5 innings.
Pretty much. That's pretty much looking at it. So what I'm looking at is, and the question I want to ask the two of you is, now, obviously you're not going to have 7 starters on your staff, especially if you're paying 7 major league starters. Who's going to be the odd man out there? Okay, is it going to be Buchholz? Now, if you were the GM and you had a choice or a chance to get rid of one of those guys, Buchholz, Pomerantz, okay, and or
I'll
Stephen
let Jimmy
Wright,
go first
Who
on
would
this,
you
I get
who
this.
would you keep, and who would go and why? Why do you think that would be?
Let me be real quick and say,
Sure.
and become a Boston Red Sox fan for the last 30 or 40 years.
Go ahead.
Okay? And not 50, because I'm not 50. All right,
He's talking to you.
I heard it. I'm just trying to ignore it.
like that, it can all go.
Right.
And we can be going down to Pawtucket, we can be going down to Portland for a pitcher.
Right.
Like that, because it
Right.
happened a couple of years ago. We
Right.
had everyone. We had the greatest pitching staff in the league, either league. And then like that, it can go.
Yeah.
You know, Buchholz, who knows what we're going to get with Buchholz? You don't know. Look at last year, look at the year before, and the years before that.
So much potential, though. Jimmy.
So
much
much.
potential.
But you know what?
And he kind of showed at the end of the year last year when he started going from the stretch and tightening up his wind up a little bit, tightening up his whole.
Yeah, but do we have to wait for him? He's nuts.
The thing is that, and you just brought up a good point, Jimmy, is that pitching you can injure yourself in 2 seconds. You know what? I think you'll get more value in a trade situation for Buchholz in a May or June. You know, when somebody's looking for that guy at the end of his contract, and you're still going to get a decent draft pick for him. Let's face it, you're not.
I'm gonna make a prediction for you, though,
You're not
yes.
going to sign Clay Buchholz again for another 2 or 3 years.
No, you're not.
You know what I mean? Because the guy's 175 pounds, soaking wet, 5'10", 5'11". You know what I mean? But the problem with it, this guy teases you year after year.
Yeah.
You go, well, you get 2 good starts.
You keep going back to that no-hitter.
Exactly.
here's-
exactly, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's my take on that, and Jimmy brought up a good point. Okay, where the injuries,
This is going to help you in your
This is-
injury
right.
process.
Oh, I'm going to be rich.
the injuries, okay, that you talked about a few years ago when we said we had all this pitching, and then it came back where we had some injuries. Okay, I understand that, but the difference is that you don't have 7 bona fide major league pitchers that you can bring down, 2 of them down to Pawtucket. You're not bringing a Buchholz down to Pawtucket to start because you can't. You're not bringing down a Pomerantz down to Pawtucket to start the year because you can't. Okay, because of their major league service time, you can't. Okay, Stephen Wright, you may be able to, but I doubt it. I'm pretty sure he's probably out of Pawtucket options, so he's got to stay up in the major league level. So you're not going to keep 7 or 8 bona fide major league pitchers on a roster.
So you're saying
It
one
just
guy's
doesn't
got- one
happen.
guy's gotta go.
Somebody's got to go.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a
Somebody's
numbers
got to
game.
go.
It's a numbers
Now,
game.
when you look at the way that the rotation could set up, okay, and I talked about again, and I mention them every week. It's kind of like a
You kind of
thing
love
now,
that lefty,
okay?
righty, lefty, righty, huh?
I was talking to our good friend Jimmy Alamishis today, and we brought up the rotation. And one of the things that we talked about was, can you imagine in a 4-game series, okay, that you're facing the Red Sox, okay, wherever it is, at home or away, and you got to face Chris Sale, okay, then you got to face
Porcello.
Porcello,
Right-hander.
Then you got to face
Price.
Erod, okay. Let's say Price is out of the rotation. Okay, let's say.
Why are you
let's say-
saying that?
Yeah,
Why
why
is-
would we
why
throw
is-
him out?
Here's what I'm saying is during the season. Obviously, at the beginning of the season, it's going to be in this order, and not particularly in this order, but it's going to be Price, Porcello, Sale, or Sale.
When was
Porcello,
the
Price.
last time the Red Sox had 3 lefties out of the starting
Oh,
4?
lefties, yeah.
Let me just finish this. What I'm trying to basically say is, for our argument's sake, about who the Red Sox should keep, the 5th starter should be. If your 5th starter is going to be somebody, it's got to be somebody that is going to, in a 4-game series, after you've seen the same type of pitching, whether it's lefty, righty. So in other words, Chris Sale, fastball pitcher, okay, top of the line pitcher. Okay, now maybe you now
Why
now
do
you may,
you
now-
consider Chris Sale a fastball pitcher?
well he throws the ball pretty good. He can
His
he can get-
effectiveness
he can get up
is
there.
coming off that slider curveball.
I understand
though,
that,
Ronnie.
but he still has a good. Well,
Oh, he's dynamite.
but let me
There's no-
finish. Okay. All I'm trying to say is this: the fifth starter, for the point of the fifth starter, you'll have a guy like Sale come in to pitch against you. Then you might have a guy like you might have, whether it's Price or whether it's Porcello. Then you'll have an Erod, guys that throw hard, guys that throw what I mean, that type of pitcher. Then you come in the fourth game and you got a guy like Stephen Wright.
Well, wait a minute. You
Okay.
already named your starting four, though.
I understand that. Now you need a fifth.
All right, so you.
So of the three guys I'm talking about, the elimination of three of those, of at least one of
Wright,
those guys.
Pomeranz, and Buchholz.
Okay, right, exactly.
Okay.
Who's going to get traded? It is not going to be Stephen Wright because Stephen Wright, again, is that change of pitcher in a 4-game series that is going to be more effective than if you throw four guys that throw the same right in a row. You see what I'm
Plus,
saying?
I don't
So-
think Wright is going to be as attractive to other teams as
That's a good
people
point.
think so.
Another great point.
Yeah.
Another great point. Because first of all, he's a knuckleballer, and number two,
Right.
he's coming off an injury. The guy that has the two guys that have the value is Pomerantz and Buchholz. Okay, they have the two most value right now. The guy that they're probably going to be able to trade away very easily, contract-wise,
Buchholz.
is Buchholz. His contract is very attractive. He makes the same amount of money as Chris Sale.
Yeah, but he's on the last
Okay.
year of his contract. People will love this.
Right. So,
But
my-
Palmer,
it-
but he's a. You know what? As much as I don't like Clay Buchholz,
yeah.
I'd still take a Clay Buchholz over a Drew Pomeranz. Because Pomeranz, to me, I mean, you've got your lefties.
Pomerantz is going to be like, if you look at last year in the playoffs, Pomerantz was used more as a reliever than he was anything else.
but how are you
He's
gonna
got no history.
He can be
there.
a
He
good
doesn't.
lefty.
You're right.
He doesn't, but they've said that that at some point Pomerantz could be a reliever. Okay, so they tried it last year in the playoffs. Obviously, there was a reason why they did that because Farrell tried to emulate what Cleveland, the manager of Cleveland, Francona was trying to do. Same type of situation. Is he a reliever? No. He obviously wants to be a starter. They've come out, Dombrowski has said he's going to be a starter. But if you have to put somebody in the bullpen, it's not going to be your four guys we mentioned. Okay?
Well, let's
And it's
take a-
not going to be a Stephen Wright.
Let's take this a
So-
step further, Ronnie, though. You have pretty much depleted all of your talent in AAA and AA at this point. In the
You
last
think so?
they've lost 10 of their top 15 guys
Okay.
in trades.
First of all, don't worry about AAA because AAA
I
is
get
not
it.
where you get the pool
No,
from.
I
It's
get it.
double
I
A,
get it.
It's
I
double
get
A.
it.
Is where you get your pool from.
But would you consider making a trade for a Drew Pomeranz to strengthen your minor leagues? Because you've taken all
Well,
your
sure.
pitchers.
I mean, obviously,
Kopech
even
was your-
Buchholz, it's the same thing
Yeah, but
you're
you don't
talking
get
about.
rid of Buchholz.
Well, yeah, you do.
Buchholz is your guy who's going to pitch the 5th and 6th inning, or the 4th, 5th, and 6th.
I think Pomerantz could be that guy. he's a lefty, too.
So
I think Pomerantz has more
would
value
you
in the
rather
bullpen.
have Pomeranz or Buchholz?
I'd rather have Pomerantz. Without
Yeah, I
question.
think Buchholz is a head case. I think you're tough with him in the bullpen. He had a tough year last year and the year before. I don't think he can be relied on. I really don't. He
For
gives
$10
up.
million, you got to rely on
Well,
him. The
the
guy's a
thing
bargain
is-
basement sale.
He's got neck problems. Every time he pitches, he goes like this.
So,
it's out of the ballpark.
it's a good point that you're making. Where the other thing too, you have to remember. And I said this, I was going to make a prediction for you. And my prediction is you're going to see Buchholz traded in this winter meetings. Okay.
I got to say, that just
You're-
reminded me
you're
of his
gonna-
prediction last
You're
year.
going to say that.
What was his prediction?
John Farrell will not see June 1st as the Red Sox manager.
Let me tell you something.
I just remembered that.
If I bet every time Ronnie told me to make a bet, I'd be in the projects right now, homeless, or panhandling.
Like I'd say,
on-
stick with me, you're wearing eggshells.
It's
okay.
awful. It's just
No, but
every-
listen.
I just remembered that. Sorry.
It's awful.
You have to understand something. Who is the only pitcher out now of value right now? Who's the only free agent? Give me two top free agents that are still available right now. Who are they?
In Major League Baseball?
Major League Baseball right now that haven't been signed yet. Encarnacion still hasn't been signed.
Batista.
But all right.
Okay, Batista got signed.
All right, I thought you
signed
were
him?
talking
Who signed
pitches.
He's going to
Baltimore?
Los Angeles, I think, for 3 years.
Would they
Los
give him
Angeles or the
cake?
Phillies? Oh, they gave him a ton of money. They gave him
it's
$30
awful.
million.
It's awful.
$89 million for 3 years.
Jesus.
Okay, so you've got Encarnacion. Forget that. Pitcher-wise, show me a picture of the other pitcher
No, wait,
out there right
Ronnie.
now.
We're done.
No, I'm not talking about us.
Yeah, but
I'm talking
don't
about
you
why
think we're
Buchholz
done?
is going to be attractive to somebody because there is
Oh, okay.
no other pitcher out there, and he is a major league
But
ready
he's a
serviceable pitcher.
reclamation project. He
Look,
is.
I agree with you.
If you
He
look,
is.
if you look at him, what he did
The
towards
San Diego
his
Padres
last,
would go,
hey,
I'll take him.
Go look up his stats for the last month of the year, Buchholz, when he decided to start pitching from the stretch, when he started figuring out that, you know what, his windup was getting him all over the place, his arm angle, he tightened everything up. He pitched pretty well, okay?
Yeah, he
and
pitched
that's
all right,
and
but
that's what.
he's-
Well,
can't be-
but you have to remember something,
He's not consistent.
Jimmy.
Lou
When they,
Gorman's gone.
Jimmy, when they
Yeah,
want
really.
when they want a pitcher, when a team wants a pitcher, they're looking for a serviceable major league pitcher. Okay, whether it could be a Chicago, that could be a number 5 starter. It can be like look at Buchholz has number 2 starter potential. People know that. Now I'm not saying he is, but
Yeah.
he has number 2 starter potential. He is definitely a number 4 or number 5 in someone's rotation. So if they're looking to shore up their rotation and there's nothing out there right now in the free agency market, then what are they going to do? Where do they
Well,
go? They go to the Red Sox and say, hey, wait a minute,
Right.
you got Drew Pomeranz,
Rennie, this
you got
15
Buchholz.
teams, there's 15 teams that'll be knocking on the door of the Red Sox looking for Buchholz this year. There's no question.
There's going to be 15 teams.
There's no
There's
question.
going to be 15
so
teams.
it's not
at
a
this-
problem.
All depends
at this-
on what we ask
At
for.
this winter,
Right,
at this winter
exactly,
meetings.
yeah.
Right.
I guarantee you Buchholz' names has been brought up since
But
all of
if you
these
can
free
get a
agents have gone.
second round pick for
Guaranteed.
Clay Buchholz, would you
Well, it
take?
depends on what you're going to get. I mean,
Would you take
obviously,
a second round pick
I'd
to
take
him?
2 minor leaguers.
A second round pick. That's what I want in
I'd
the
fill up
draft.
I'd do what you said, Johnny. Fill
I
up your-
would, yeah.
Fill up your minor league system.
Right.
Okay. Give
You
me
know
2.
what?
Give me 2.
We've talked about
know.
the two trades right now,
Right.
right? But the one that's really kind of got under the wire here, and I think that's why the Red Sox have said, okay, Sandoval's playing third base. But
Mitch Moreland.
I like Mitch
Mitch
Moreland
Moreland.
as a nice backup
Sure.
to Hanley Ramirez, and those
Well,
two
first of
guys
all-
are just
first-
those
first
two
of all,
guys are
get
just
that thought
going.
out of your head. Mitch Moreland's your first baseman.
No,
okay.
no,
He's
they're
your-
going to split. They're going to
No,
split.
they're not.
Him and Ramirez will split.
No, they're not. I'm gonna tell you-
Moreland cannot
know what
be
I'm gonna
a
tell you why?
full-time
No, he doesn't
first
have to.
baseman.
But he
he's
can-
not.
The guy's a 230 hitter, Russ.
Yeah.
When you say split, I'm thinking 81 and 81. You're not going to see that. Mitch Moreland's going to play 130 plus games at first base. Okay, he's a Gold Glover at first base, guys.
The guy
He
hits
can't hit.
230,
He
kid.
can't hit.
Yeah, but he hits 30 homers.
He doesn't. He hits 25 tops.
30
the guy
homers
is not.
at
The guy
Fenway
is
Park.
not.
He's
That's
going to hit
the
30
problems
homers.
that they had
okay?
with
He's gonna have
Sandoval.
more. He's going to have more homers because he's playing more games at Fenway Park.
Sandoval come
Okay?
in, and we expected him to go from a guy that hit 21 home runs, 22 home runs. They expected him to, and hit 270. They expected him to hit 300 or close to it with 25, 28 home runs.
Sandoval.
He's who he is.
Sandoval's
These
not,
guys
Sandoval was
are
never
who
going to
they
hit.
are.
He was never going to hit 300.
Yeah, but neither is Moreland.
Sandoval. No, Moreland's not going to hit 300, but he's
But
going to
you
hit
can't,
25.
Ronnie,
He's gonna
you
hit
can't
25
take a
homers
230
and 80
guy
RBIs.
hitter to play
That's what he
first base
is.
for the Boston
He's
Red
a
Sox.
25, 85. They don't care about his average. He's a Gold Glove first baseman. Okay.
But he
How many
started-
mistakes
So that's
did
what they
Hanley Ramirez make this year? Did he really hurt you at first base this
He
year?
wasn't that good. He wasn't as
Did
good
he
as he
hurt
thinks
you
he
at
is.
first base, Ronnie?
He didn't kill you, but he wasn't that good.
All
He
right.
did cause other guys on the field to have throws that
this is
Gold
why-
Glove
this is
first
why I need
baseman,
another co-host.
a
You just-
Gold
you can't
Glove
talk
first
about it.
baseman will make these plays. There were a lot of plays last year that Hanley didn't make. They weren't his errors, but they
getting
didn't.
stressful
they didn't.
here.
I get it, Ron. I get it, Ronnie. I
All right,
get it.
So look at with that said, what I want to do is I want to kind of get into a little bit of the lineup too. Okay. Now you can remember when we're just talking about Mitch Moreland at first base. Remember, a happy Hanley is going to make that lineup even better because when Hanley's happy, he plays
Yeah, but does
baseball.
Hanley wanna
When
play DH?
Absolutely.
No, I think he wants to play
No,
some first.
listen, I'm going to tell you what happened last year. You look this up. I guarantee you'll find this out. When they told him he was being switched over to first base, he wasn't happy with it, but he was more happy than going out to the
the
outfield.
outfield. That's
okay?
agreed. That's
so
agreed.
Yeah.
he didn't want to play. He
know.
likes playing in the infield. Don't get me wrong. But what they told him was, David Ortiz is going to retire after this year. When he retires, you're going to be our permanent DH. His eyes, and I remember this conversation that they had. His eyes lit up like a Christmas tree because that's all Hanley wants to do. Hanley likes to hit. That's it. So that's the reason why they got a guy like Mitch Moreland, because it was either going to be him or Napoli. One of the two. It was never going to be Encarnacion because they weren't going to pay the money that he's
Okay,
going
so
to need.
let's go with what you just said. All right.
yeah.
All right. So
You're
you've
gonna-
pretty much put all your eggs in a basket.
With who?
Pablo Sandoval is going to pan out here.
Did
And
you see the picture of him today?
Did he look like you still? or-
He's lost 57 pounds.
Yeah, I saw the.
No kid.
57 pounds.
Yeah, but
Looks
everyone
phenomenal.
does. Everyone does after they
Looks
have children.
Looks phenomenal.
He gave birth.
Yeah, he did something because
Pregnant last year.
he did. Put that in the plus column for him. Okay,
that's
that
good.
goes
I
in the
like
plus
that.
column.
Well, he
All
did.
right?
He looked 9 months pregnant.
All right.
Crying out loud.
Actually, it doesn't sound. Talking supposed to Jimmy and Johnny. That sounds so
J&J.
J&J.
Double J.
Double
Yeah.
J's? Yeah.
JJ's
so-
Pub.
Get your resume
So-
together. You're all done.
So, yeah, he's lost about 50-something pounds. He looks,
Well, hey,
he looks
that's great.
awesome.
All right,
okay?
that's great. So you said, all right, he's your third baseman.
He is
All
definitely
right.
third base because Shaw's gone. They got rid of Shaw.
The only thing I
Who's
will
playing
say
third?
about Moreland, he will be protected in the lineup, which should bump his.
Give me your
average
lineup.
up. So
you
what's
tell me.
your-
It's interesting that you say that. Give me your lineup
right,
this
Jimmy,
year,
you
going
go, no,
forward.
no.
Give me your lineup.
I don't have Moreland in the lineup. I just don't have him there.
Okay,
I'm
so-
worried about
So
him.
you think he's a backup? They got him to be a backup?
I'm not
Backup to who?
comfortable with him. Batting at 210 in the
Backup
lineup.
to who? Who's your DH?
I don't know. You signed him. You got to keep him somehow.
Oh, this is easy.
Go ahead.
I mean, Farrell's got to go back to Betts being the leadoff rather than Pedroia.
Okay.
Pedroia batting
You're
second.
wong already. That's why we're going to get another guy. But go ahead.
Talking
Keep
sports
going.
with Jimmy and Ronnie.
So
Yeah.
now
Doesn't
your
even sound
job
good.
is it?
All right,
is
Yeah,
it-
I know.
RJ.
All right.
Go ahead, yeah.
All right, so Betts, Pedroia, Ramirez. Bogarts, Ramirez, Sandoval. Okay?
Yeah.
Sandoval, at that point, so you're at 6, right?
Yeah.
So then you got Moreland,
Okay.
Vasquez,
Okay.
Bradley.
Okay. The one you're good from 7 down. Okay.
So is that-
'Cause
is that a
number-
good percentage, or-
That's 33%. It's not bad. If you had hit 33% when you were in high school, people would be raving about you.
I didn't.
No, you didn't. All right. So
Grades? No.
Not good.
no, wasn't good. It wasn't. It was well.
Well, Jimmy Shaughnessy hit one off of me at alumni. I think it's
Still
just
going.
coming down. It's just
coming
coming down. Holy Ghost Park is a
Let me
foul.
tell you what's going to happen.
25.
First of all, Betts is not batting first. Get
No,
that
I'm
out
sorry,
of your head.
what?
He's batting third. Okay. He's going to be your number 3 hitter. Okay.
Who's leader?
It's going to be the Pedroia or Benintendi. One of the
Pedroia
two.
should not be.
Okay. Pedroia or Benintendi is going to lead off, and then either one of those two is going to be first and second. Betts is going to bat third.
We haven't even
wait,
mentioned
okay.
Benintendi.
Benintendi is going to bat what?
Second.
Really?
Or first. Either one.
Do we do drug test here?
Either one. Okay.
Because you need to take a drug test.
Okay,
Lee.
so-
I'm serious. You're going to bat Benintendi second.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
We're going to put Pedroia.
First.
What?
He only hit 500 when he batted first last year. Just so you know that.
You want to
Okay?
keep everybody happy,
Okay.
right? Pedroia doesn't like to hit
I'm gonna
leadoff.
give you another.
All right, help me out.
First of all, he's a team player. He'll do whatever he's asked to do.
Whatever. Go ahead.
Okay. And we get another reason why he shouldn't bat second, even if Benintendi batted first. Okay, because he isn't too many double plays. Okay. Pedroia. He was second in the league in double plays last year. He hits into way too many double plays. All right. So you have Pedroia leading off and getting on base because he gets on base over 40% of the time. Okay. Now you have Benintendi. Okay, who can you swing the bat? Okay, and he's fast. He's a lot faster than what Pedroia is going to be. Okay, so
I
you're going
can't wait to
Benintendi
hear the
second.
rest of this lineup.
Then you have Betts,
Third.
third.
Who's
Okay?
on first?
I don't know.
Third
Second
base.
All right.
I didn't
you're gonna
wanna
have
say
you're gonna
that,
have
but-
Betts. You're gonna have Betts.
I might be
third.
throwing them both out of
All
here.
right. You're gonna have Betts third. Then you're gonna have Hanley batting fourth.
So Bogarts
Okay.
is going.
Bogarts is batting fifth.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
Okay. Then you're gonna have Sandoval.
Sixth.
Then you're going to have Moreland. Then
Seventh.
you're going to have the catcher, whoever it may be.
Eighth.
Then you're going to have Bradley. You have to keep Jackie Bradley Jr. ninth because that's
No.
where his best position. All right, what is it about Jackie Bradley Jr. that impresses anybody that he should bat anything but ninth?
I'm good with him, ninth.
I'm not.
Okay, he
Where-
strikes
where
out.
would you bet? Where would
he
you bet him?
he
I would
strikes
put
out.
him right in the front of right in front. And
Number one?
I would
Doesn't get
probably
on
put him
base
number
enough, Jimmy.
two.
Doesn't get on base.
Number two. What's he going to do at number two besides strike out?
He's got power.
Okay,
He's
so
got
you-
power. He
so
moves the ball. He sprays the ball.
He strikes out 160 times, Jimmy. You don't
Yeah.
need a guy batting second that strikes out
We got a
160 times
caller
a
on.
year.
I think we have our.
No way.
I think Ray Keefe's on the line.
I don't know. I don't think he is.
Yeah.
Is Ray on the line right now?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, there he is. On
Ray,
the
how
line
are
right
ya?
now, our guy from UMass Lowell, our expert from UMass Lowell. Have you listened to the show so far, Ray? Because these guys got to go. I'm telling you. Say hello to Jimmy Latham. He's celebrating his 50th birthday.
Hey, Jimmy, happy 50th.
Thank you, Ray. It's the Ray and Jim show.
What a way to start off his 50th birthday, huh? This poor guy. Ray, give us an update on what happened last weekend. UMass Lowell went from what, 4th to 9th ranked or something?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it was a nightmare, guys. I mean,
Who? And it was against who?
Connecticut.
Oh, my God.
Can we
please.
stay out of the box, Ray, or what?
Yeah, well, they did get one power play goal on Friday night that was hurtful, but for the most part, you know what it is, guys? They're just not playing 60 minutes. When they play their game and they play 60 minutes of hockey, they're really an excellent hockey team, probably one of the top 7 or 8 in the country. But when they don't play a full 60 minutes, teams that may not be on paper as good as them catch up to them. We've seen it all year long. And,
Hey, Ray,
Yep.
are the UMass Lowell River Hawks like watching the Boston Bruins this year, or is it me?
Well, it's about as consistent, Johnny. I mean, it's just been like it's like a heart palpitation graph. I mean, it's up, it's down. You don't know what you're going to get. You can't really get two good nights of hockey from them, really, since the beginning of the season. So yeah, I would say that they really do marry each other.
Well, how's our young goalie looking?
He's been, I would say that after this weekend here, let's see what happens. But I'd give him a solid B plus. I don't think he's a problem at all. And they did play the other kid, Metcalf, on Saturday, who had a great game, 36 saves, 2-2 tie. So I don't know what Norm's got in mind there, but I don't think the goaltending has been an issue. I really think that it's been a combination of not playing disciplined hockey, taking a lot of crazy penalties that kind of affected him early in the year that we talked about, and then just not playing.
Ray, they remind me that they feel as though they're talented enough to play finesse European hockey, when in fact they actually got to play like the Bruins and dump it, chase it, grind it, and try to score 2, maybe 3 goals a game. Am I off on that?
No, that's their game. They play a very strong defensive style, and their whole thing is to play the body in the middle of the ice, not physically by the boards, but play the body in the middle of the ice and steal the puck and then transition with their speed, which they have plenty of, and create opportunities that way. That's when they're at their best. That's when they score, and that's when they win hockey games, John. That's their game, and sometimes they just come out sleepwalking, and before you know it, Connecticut just scored first, and then they scored second to go ahead by 1, and then they got the third goal that Lowell couldn't tie on Friday. So they were always playing from behind, and that's not their style, Johnny.
What we got this weekend, and what's the prognosis for this team that's probably needs a little surgery right now?
Yeah. Well, maybe they need a break. They have Merrimack Friday at home, Saturday at Merrimack, and again, it's another team that is down below Lowell. They should, they should sweep. Whether they will or not is another thing going. But guys, I got to tell you something. And when they come back after the break, they still have BU, Providence, UNH, BC, and Northeastern, and also UMass. But 5 teams that can absolutely tie them in a knot and have in the past. So to start to think that they're going to come out, let's say get red hot like Northeastern did in the second half of last season, right? And just dominate. But that's hard to see happening. We're not going to be looking at weekends where we're hoping for sweeps. We're going to be looking at splits like we talked about when this whole season started. And now they put themselves in a position where splitting with these teams may not be good enough.
Ray, you got a minute. Give me your Coach Bazin. You're Coach Bazin right now. What are you gonna do to tell these guys they're gonna do to be a better hockey team?
Well, I think that first of all, you can't be reading and listening to the press clippings. I'm not sure that's happening, but it could. You can't be constantly looking to see where you rank, because that's only a bunch of coaches saying that this is the team that I think should be 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, or whatever. You got to play the games, and you can't think that anybody in Hockey East or some of these other teams around the country that are below you aren't. It's Division I hockey.
Don't forget, Ray. You're talking still about a fairly young team that will go through these peaks and valleys. I think this is the valley here, but unless you get a quick turnaround, you could be out of the top 10 here very quickly.
There's no doubt about it, and that's the thing. I mean, they've got to come back and play disciplined hockey, which we've been preaching since day one, and you got to play 60 minutes, because really they're very good, right? They're a very good team. But when they're not skating, when they're not coming out with some fire under their behinds, they're
That's
just a
it.
regular
Yep.
team, and you can't expect to beat anybody in Hockey East with a subpar performance. It's not going to happen.
Okay, Ray. So they play this weekend. Are they off the following weekend?
Yeah, then they go
Perfect.
on
Because what we're going to do is have you come in the studio and you're going to give us a recap of the first half of the season for UMass Lowell hockey, and then give us what your projections and stuff are for the second half of the week, buddy.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll call you during the week. We'll set it up, but plan on being here next week in studio. Again, always a pleasure talking to you, my friend. We'll talk to you again next week. You'll actually be in studio, hopefully.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot, guys, and happy 50th, pal.
We will see you next week, my friend.
See you, Ray.
Okay. All right.
All
take
right.
care,
Ray
guys.
Keefe again, UMass Lowell hockey.
I haven't kept up with UMass
I
Lowell
got-
hockey.
gotta tell you,
real
that's what
quick-
it is. It's
Just
the
real
young-
quick,
it's a
real
young-
quick, we're
young
going to move
crowd.
on. We'll move on, but I got to tell you really quick, I don't think UMass Lowell is going to really do anything this year because they're just way too young. They're showing their youth right now. They're having a hard time. They're having
Well,
a
I
hard
think
time.
what you're going to see is that they will go. The kids go through this, and then it's kind of a lag, and then the second wind does pick up because they're young.
Well-
they're ready to go, and if they're buying in what Bazan is, teaching, they're going to be fine. The problem is, you still have the BCs and the BUs who are a little bit older, Ronnie, and a little bit more seasoned. But you know
That's
what?
my point, Johnny.
You're right,
The
you're
hardest,
right,
the hardest part of this
What
schedule
did I
is
just
coming,
say?
how it's coming up right now.
What did I just say?
I don't know, whatever it was. Did
thought I
agree?
said you're right.
Did I agree?
Oh, my
Well,
God.
You did say it.
Wait a
See,
minute, call me.
I knew there was hope.
I'm having pain.
All right, listen, I want to move on because I want to talk about, we talked about the Red Sox. We don't agree on what's going on with the Red Sox, so let's just put that,
Me and Jimmy agree.
Let's just put that to a dead
Can I
rest.
throw a real quick one out there?
Go ahead, throw it
if
out
you don't
there.
mind.
No, absolutely, go ahead.
Bryce Harper,
Yes,
free agent,
yes.
coming up. Are
When?
you-
Next year, 2 years?
He's like
2
the
years.
Rajon. He's
2
like
years,
the
yeah.
Rajon Rondo.
They
of,
said
of
he's going to
the
be looking
MLB.
for $400 million.
Dollars, right, yeah, he'll get it from somebody.
I know.
10
he will.
years,
He's
400
gonna
million.
get it.
But
He's
who's he
gonna
going to get it from? Yankees?
Well, it all depends what the scenarios are. I mean, there's only 4 or 5
Now,
market teams out there
Rodriguez's
that can really
contract
do
is
it.
done, or does he have
Okay.
one more? Is A-Rod's done, right?
A-Rod?
Are they paying A-Rod?
Who's that?
Alex Rodriguez.
Who's that?
Exactly.
Right.
But that was $28 million.
Is he
for
still
the
on the
Yankees.
payroll, though?
Yeah, is he one
The
more
Yankees
year?
still have players that are still on the payroll from
From 1952.
1942.
So
Okay,
do
they're
the
still
Mets.
paying.
The Mets
Okay.
just finished up paying.
Bonilla.
Yeah, Bonilla,
Bonilla.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right, they
Right, he
did.
hasn't played baseball in 15
Right.
years.
$1 million
Okay?
a year or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that?
But
Exactly.
you know, A-Rod, the
Exactly.
Seattle,
I think
Texas.
Andy Messersmith's been getting paid by the
Yeah,
Dodgers since
I know,
1960.
yeah.
All right, so
All right.
I mean, look, but
That's
you
a
know what?
good.
Again,
That's a good name. You know what? He was the first free agent
free agent,
ever
absolutely, yes,
signed.
that's why I kind of said it, but that's all right. And you caught on to that. I like it. I like the
I
fact
threw that to him.
You kind of thought, yeah.
like
All
a hook right there.
So, yes, to answer your point, he's going to make $400 million, and the way he's going to make $400 is either through the Yankees. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. This luxury tax thing that they talk about in baseball, it's
Yeah.
just a fluke. It's nothing. It's zero.
They just
okay?
money
It's
to
nothing.
them
It's
is
nothing. That's all it is.
nothing.
Okay, it doesn't
Nothing.
mean that. So when he says he's going to make $400 million, he's going to make $400 million in 2 years or not. Because
I don't
Bryce
believe it.
Harper is, how old is he? 24?
You won't see a contract more.
24?
He's got
25?
Boris, though.
All right.
Boris, they bend over for
Exactly.
Boris.
All
They
right.
give him what he wants.
So here's my thing. Ending the Red Sox talk, we'll get on to the Patriots because I want to talk about how good this Patriots team really is. Yeah, I know. Me too.
Great
Okay, I
game,
want to talk.
great
I want to
game.
talk. You know what? I'm
Oh,
gonna-
the defense
you
is
know
great,
what?
Ronnie.
You know what?
Yeah, the
though?
defense-
Yeah,
you
but
played the Rams,
no,
Ronnie.
No, listen to me. No, listen to me. I didn't want to
You're
talk.
killing
about,
me.
I didn't want to talk about the Rams game because there's nothing to talk about
was
in that
relevant.
Rams game. Okay, I didn't want to talk about that. Okay, what I do want to do is put the rest is that with this Red Sox team. Okay, Jimmy, you hit on it. It's a good point. On paper, this team looks like it's rock solid from all angles, everything, okay? But you never know what's going to happen. We've all played baseball. We all know what's happening. And one key injury, okay, in a pitcher, one key injury in a batter, and anything can happen, okay? So we'll talk more about that in the future, about the Red Sox. I like what Dombrowski did. I like the pieces he's brought in. And I got a feeling there's probably going to be one more trade, but I think it's going to be somebody leaving the Red Sox instead of somebody getting onto the Red Sox.
He's done
and
a
that
great
pitching
job.
staff, okay?
He's done a
So-
great job.
Yeah,
all right,
he
so
has.
let's move on. Let's talk about these New England Patriots. Right before you came in off the air, me and Jimmy
I
were
was
talking
signing
a little bit.
autographs
I know
out
you
front.
were. I saw you out there. I
They
saw.
had,
You know
they
what?
had signed
You still-
Stocking.
you still-
Stocking supposed to Ronnie,
you
but
still
they had
cha-
Ronnie.
you still charging $20?
25.
Save
tonight.
some
25
women
tonight.
for us,
Imagine
will
that.
you?
This guy, you just
Unbelievable.
it's
There's
all
no
about money
girls.
with this guy. He don't care. He
Yeah,
don't care. It's
patent
all about
stuff,
money.
trademark
Yeah.
stuff.
All about
But
money.
it all came.
I don't know. So,
I'm going to give a piece of that.
are you going to give me a piece? Just a little piece? Just a little piece?
Very
Yeah, that's what I figured. All right. I heard about our contract negotiations. You didn't even mention my name. All right, so anyways, I want to talk about the Patriots and the fact that we were talking off the air and asking each other, who have the Patriots really played that really would impress you? That they're I get it, they're 10-2. I get it, okay? But seriously, do you believe, and as I believe, their first true test of the year is coming up on Monday night, okay?
I agree.
Their first true test of the year, offensively and defensively, is going to come this Monday night. You're going to find out what this Patriots team is made of And I will not be surprised if Baltimore comes in this week and steamrolls the Patriots on Monday night. It will not shock me. Okay? You guys agree? Disagree? Is it going to be another one of these Patriots games?
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the Jets almost beat us, for crying out loud. Any team can come close to beating you. It's just a matter
Unless you're
of...
Cleveland.
Huh?
Unless you're Cleveland.
Yeah, unless you're Cleveland.
Okay.
No kid. The team, what's very exciting that's coming up is I want to see that Denver game. Nothing in the AFC scares me. The Ravens don't scare me.
Right.
They don't. I'm sorry. They just don't scare
They
me.
scare me a lot. They
Yeah.
really do.
They
Defensively, they're the best
they've
defense in
always
football.
had a good defensive team. And
Flacco's starting to come around a little bit. Flacco doesn't have to be great, Jimmy. All he's got to be is managing the game.
no, and that's always
Okay.
that's his whole career.
All he's got to do is manage the game.
He's
Don't
accurate.
make mistakes.
He's an accurate short passer. He's a very good, accurate short passer.
Okay.
And their defense has always been good. Yes, and the Patriots sometimes have a lot of problems in defense.
Baltimore scares me more than Denver does. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I don't believe in either one of those two quarterbacks at all. Okay? Denver's defense is the only thing that would scare anybody is because Denver's defense is Denver's defense. They're a great defense.
Who's a better
But
defense?
offensively,
Who's a
who
better
scares-
defense?
Who
Baltimore
scares
or
you?
Denver?
Baltimore, I
Yeah,
think.
I'd say
I think
Baltimore.
Baltimore, okay?
Yeah.
Denver's shown some holes this year, okay? And that offense doesn't scare me at all. Do you think even going into Denver that offense can score
I think the
24
quarterback's
points?
assessment.
Do you think that team can score 24
That's
points
why I
against
kind
the
of agree with
Patriots?
Ronnie. I think Baltimore is your tough foe.
Okay,
I mean,
Yeah.
Flacco's
that's
a
why
veteran.
I'm saying this
Would it
week
surprise?
against-
Would it surprise me to see a 28-10 Baltimore win? Probably not. But would it surprise me to see a 28-10 Patriots win? It wouldn't surprise
yeah, I
me
mean,
either.
you get these strong.
Which
strong
one?
defensive
Which one?
teams.
If you had to put your not your hard-earned money because I know you don't work that hard, but if you had to put a little bit of money on it, which way would you go with that? Which way would you think it would be more likely to happen?
I'm surprised.
You
What's
got to remember the condition the Patriots are in right now too.
what was the spread that came out? It was already like 6.5.
8.5.
8.5.
8.5.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah.
I know they're home.
Way too
okay?
many points.
So take the 3 points. So it's a 5-point swing.
Basically, what they're saying. They're
You know?
saying that the Patriots are 5 points
You know?
fit better than Baltimore. But
I'm kind of looking at a 24-21 Pats win type of
well,
thing.
I'll tell you, it's going to be a close game. It's going to be, I think, one way or the other, and it wouldn't shock me. You got to remember now, guys. No Gronkowski. Okay.
Amendola.
No
is looking
Amendola.
Like, it looks like he's definitely
He's out.
He's
Okay.
definitely
He's
out.
going to be out. You got a banged up Brady. Okay. Whether the people want to admit it or not, Brady's not playing at 100%. He kind of showed it last week that he wasn't playing at 100%.
Especially 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
You
all right.
know, last
So,
week he's
so
better.
remember that. Okay. Now remember, you got a Baltimore defense, and you remember this is kind of a grudge match game too, guys. If you remember, because
They're
the
ones-
Deflategate
Deflategate.
initially started with Baltimore calling Indy,
Yeah.
okay, and saying, "Hey, be careful with this team." This
There'll be
team-
no hugs and
this
kisses
team's
with
been-
Harbaugh
No,
and Belichick at the end
they're
of the
not
game.
very. They're not. Lovey-dovey between the two of them. Okay.
You know how we feel when we talk about these games. You know, we meaning fans.
Right.
We go into them, and you get that thing
Oh,
in
it's
your
your whole heart
stomach.
and soul.
Can you imagine the way that they feel, the Patriots feel, that when they go into that? And you know, history has shown, at least recent history, when the Patriots have an axe to grind, they do it.
But you got to remember something too now.
Right. No.
There's a difference between having an axe to grind with your team being 100% and having all the pieces, or not having some of the pieces. Baltimore has an axe to grind too.
But
Okay,
most
when they
of the
go in there.
teams that have beaten us in the last several years, meaning with Belichick,
Yeah.
have done it when we really haven't been paying attention. Look at Miami last year. It's just like, oh yeah, let's just play out this game.
Right.
But it's these
It's a
teams.
sore spot
If
with
they
Ronnie.
come up, if I'm looking forward to the game, you can bet your butt that Bill Belichick's looking forward to the game.
Okay,
You know.
I agree.
I mean, there's a offensive coordinator, McDaniels.
McDaniels.
I mean, you got to see. There's got to be a different wrinkle. I'm sure Baltimore's looking at the same thing. You know, from and we're
There's
looking at
familiarity between the
There
two
is.
teams.
There is a lot.
Okay.
But my worry is, you know what? We all know Brady's not, 100%. So let's say he's 75, 80% at this point. You know what? When you got a good defense like Baltimore coming at you, right now, Brady's been averaging just under 3 seconds to throw the ball. And that's what the offensive line is giving him, and that's what McDaniels has adjusted to on his offensive schemes.
Yeah.
He may not have 3 seconds. He may have 2.4 seconds to get that ball off Ronnie, which scares me because, you didn't see it a lot last game, but there were a couple of decent hits on Brady last
Sure
year.
there was.
And they're going to be more.
Baltimore's going to be a lot more.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
That's-
That's
Baltimore
what's
attacks the
scary.
quarterback
You're
you
better
got
than any
to.
team
You
in
have to
football.
keep this guy upright.
Okay.
So,
My-
do you see more of a running game running, or
They don't. You can't run against Baltimore. That's the problem.
you're
Baltimore's
going to
the
see a
best
lot?
run
You're going to
defense.
see a lot of
Baltimore and Denver are the two best run defenses
Then
in
it's screens.
football.
You're gonna see a lot of
okay?
screens with White
Well, that's
and
the issue
Lewis.
now. Baltimore knows that because where's their deep down the field threat now? Malcolm Mitchell, where was he last week? Did he play? Did he play at all last week?
I thought he played fairly.
Yeah,
well.
a
Play
good
okay?
game
Was he
last
all right?
week. Yeah,
Was
he
he
had a good
okay?
game.
Well,
Yeah, where
okay.
were
Well,
you?
my point is, no, I'm just saying. I mean,
don't even
honestly,
know what you're talking about.
I didn't. No, I just didn't recognize the fact that he had a real good game.
did have a
didn't
good
have
Pretty good game.
Okay, how many? Did he what? 5 catches, maybe
He's like
6 catches.
seven for
Yeah,
80
he
Okay.
yards or something.
had
All right,
quite a
so
few.
he's really your only downfield threat, okay, right now. Does Malcolm Mitchell, if you're a defensive coordinator, put fear into your heart saying that, we got a scheme against Malcolm
Yeah, you know,
Mitchell?
you brought up a good point. LeGarrette Blount, okay, is hitting that magic number that all runners historically in the NFL hit. And they go, woo.
Right,
He's 30 years old.
right.
He's done phenomenal.
Yeah,
He's not
absolutely.
Marcus Allen, though. When he hits 30, you hit these guys, he's got a lot of runs in him. He's got a lot of hits in him. He's a big guy.
I disagree with you on one point. This NFL isn't the 1980s or 90s NFL. The running backs are not carrying it 25, 30 times. If you see Blunt, he's carrying it 15 to 18
But
times.
they're also not. They're also more physical now.
Well,
every
you can say
single,
that. You can
every
say that,
single,
Ron, and I agree with you.
every single one of those hits is a punishing hit when
And
you're
I
getting
agree with
hit.
Jimmy. When he hits the hole, it's not like he's going right through like butter. He gets that one contact, then he gets his extra 2 yards. But I still think carrying the ball 15 times rather than 25 times, that saved LeGarrette Blount. And that's why this works with him, because he's still fresh in the end of the third, fourth quarter. Because he's not a back built for 25, 30 runs. Let's face it.
No, there's
I'd
no
be
way.
afraid if
No way.
if something happened to him, if he wore out, I'd be afraid
I agree with you.
of our offense. And that's what I'm trying to say is he's bouncing off the tackles, he's bouncing off the defenders, and look at his beautiful touchdown run last week. But for a guy that big, he's 30 years old, and 30 years old, isn't that old.
In football
but
years it is.
football as a running back, it's a
football
lot.
it is,
It's a lot.
You're
starting,
to
it
get
goes
some
like this. You don't see many 30, 31-year-old running backs.
The thing
Starts
that,
to get your bald head.
the thing,
Yeah.
the thing that scares.
Yeah, look at-
The thing that scares me about this New England Patriots team, okay? Don't you worry about nothing,
Yeah.
okay? Give me another 2 years, and
Yeah,
especially at that job you have, you'll be
tell
forget
me-
about
it's
forget
good thing
about
there's
him.
no
Listen, you know
breeze
what?
in
Somebody
here.
said I look like Paulie Walnuts from The Sopranos.
You
Is that
kind of
true?
do.
Yeah?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It'd be
Keep
embarrassing if the
keep
hair
thinking that
fell
way.
off.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
My fear with this Patriots team right now is, look, again, what happens is you play all of these mediocre teams throughout the season, and then you get into the playoffs,
You gotta
and
jump
now you're
that
playing
level.
now you're playing the meat, and you have to go from here all the way up to here against some of
Yeah.
these teams. So that's my issue right now, is the fact that other than Baltimore, and I know they go into Denver, and for me, I know it's going to be a good game, but they don't scare me. Outside of that, look at the schedule they have.
Let me play devil's advocate.
Who are they
with you,
gonna
Ronnie.
play?
Let me play devil's advocate with you.
Sure.
Because let's say we've always put Belichick on the podium, right?
Yeah.
So has Bill Belichick played just to beat these guys? The game plan is, okay, we're playing the Jets this week. We know we don't have to come out with the firepower that we usually would have to play if we're playing the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to do just enough to win. Or are the Patriots doing everything they can to beat the Los Angeles Rams, the New York Jets, the Miami Dolphins? I mean, or is Bill Belichick saying,
So
wait,
are
a
you-
minute, I'm keeping something in my Santa Claus
Well,
sack
I'm
here
sure
because...
there's always something they keep for future.
But have
okay?
they played to their full potential? I guess I'm asking you two guys that.
Well, I would hope that every week they come in knowing that if they don't play with their full potential, they're not going to win because it's the NFL. Okay, so
I don't agree with that.
My thing is like, in other words, you're saying that
I think
as they're
their
playing
talent
the
is
Rams,
that much better.
they don't play as hard against the Rams as they would say against Baltimore
I'm
because
just
Baltimore's
saying,
a better team.
I'm just saying
Do they
showing.
deserve something?
They're not showing everything that they're not showing their cards.
Oh no, they're not. They're always going to keep something because for the future. But
You know?
I think at some point, I think they're showing a lot more this year than they have in past years. Look at I think Belichick learns from the past or from things that have gone on. Look what he did last year And I was rather ticked off on him for doing this. Look what he did with the Dolphins.
With the Miami game,
And
right.
how much did that cost his team?
Right. Oh, absolutely.
And do you think that he
cost him
learned
the Super
something
Bowl.
from that? It did.
Cost of the Super Bowl.
It cost him a trip to the Super Bowl. It absolutely did.
I mean, of all the sports,
I mean, the one thing that
So, I
Belichick
don't-
is able.
I don't
home
think
field
he's-
advantage in
I
football
think he's
is huge.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
don't, I
There's
don't,
no
I don't
doubt
think
about it.
he's
Of course it
holding
is.
back as much as some people think he's not holding anything back.
All right, let me just check this. Do we have Rob on the line right now? We do.
Why?
Rob, how are you? Our good friend Rob from Methuen on the line right now. Rob, are you there?
Hey, what's up, folks?
All right, Rob, hold on one second. I know
Rob,
it's
I
not.
thought
I
your
know it's
prepaid
not. I
card
know
was
it's
done.
not NASCAR anymore. So here's the thing I'm going to do. We've got
Talk NASCAR.
we've
Go
got
ahead.
a little bit of time left. Say hello to our good friend Jimmy Latham. He just turned 50 years old today.
Hi,
Jimmy,
Rob.
come here.
We
Welcome
dragged
to
him.
the
We
club.
dragged him onto the set. You know how you? Hey, Rob, you remember 50 about 10 years ago, right?
Oh, yeah, at least.
Yeah, at least 10 years ago.
Wait till Ronnie hits
Look
it.
at him. Look at biologically, he's 52, I think. Biologically, on paper. Physiologically, he's about 78 with that job.
54.
50,
Looking
what are you,
about-
54?
Oh, this is Adonis body. I'm about 40.
Yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit back during this segment right now because I'm going to switch gears to the three guys that I think are probably way more qualified to me, and I can actually admit that from time to time.
You're gonna
unlike
keep
my-
quiet?
Unless my co-host, unlike my co-host who thinks everything is about everything and he knows everything, all right? And I want you guys to talk about the state of this Bruins team, okay? And what I'm going to do is, here's what we're going to do, Rob. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes, okay, between the three is to bounce back and forth and to talk about how bad this Boston Bruins team is. I mean, how this Boston Bruins
Good.
team is. And then after you guys are finished, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to give you my 2 cents worth. All right, so
I
for
would love to
now,
hear.
go at it, boys. Tell me how good this Boston Bruins team and what gives you confidence about them.
I thought we were going to talk NASCAR.
No, gone. NASCAR's off the shelf now.
Rob, you talk NASCAR, you'll never call here again.
That's it, huh?
All right? I'm telling
All
you
right?
right now.
So let me lead it off for you. Johnny, tell me how good this Boston Bruins team is and why they're going to make the playoffs. Crickets.
They're going to make the playoffs.
Crickets.
All right, this is the deal.
Crickets.
This is the deal.
Right now, they have the best goalie in the league. Maybe not the best, but top 3.
No, he's playing the best. He's not the best goalie in the league, but he's playing.
Maybe he's in the
I'm
top
sorry.
3.
I'm sorry. I forgot I was going to.
You weren't gonna say anything.
I'm not saying anything. From here on out, go ahead.
Rob brings up a great point. Tuukka Rask is playing like the $7 million goaltender that we're paying him to be. He has to play like this in order for the Bruins to go into the playoffs. Be it the 7th, 8th, maybe they luck out and be a 6th if they get on the streak. But they are who they are. But I will say, if they continue to play like they played last game, I will enjoy watching the Boston Bruins play hockey this year, even if they don't make the playoffs, because they played hard, they played good defensive hockey, Rask played well in net, and you know what? I know there's people out there, naysayers, they hate Zdeno Chara, but he does make a difference out there, and he, you know what, you could say he coddles Carlo, but Carlo played just a little bit better with Chara in the lineup. He's going to be a decent player, that kid. Now, you know, they just don't have enough firepower, you know, and we keep on saying it, Robin. I'll let you speak here in a second, Jimmy. But you know what? David Backes tipping in that shot the other night, the man's a center. I don't know how the Bruins can do it. I don't know what they can do. But when he's in the front, he's a big man, and he takes up a lot of space. And you know what? You can see the way he plays his game. He's not a right winger. He's a centerman. And I don't understand that Claude Julien or Neely or Sweeney can't see that. I understand they got a glutton of centers. But you know what? Even though I think Ryan Spooner played the best game of his life all season, I mean, the other night, I'm just not buying it. And I just think,
Yeah, I'm not buying it either.
I would rather go with a Bergeron, Krejci, and a Backes 3-line centers, and then go on from there. But I'll let you pipe up, Rob and Jimmy, and I know I'm right, and you guys will probably be wrong, so that's all right.
Go ahead,
Go
Rob.
ahead, Jimmy. Well, I just think so. We're not scoring a lot of goals, but like we said, we've got one of the best goalies in the league right now. Defensively, we're a great team, and that's more than half the battle. If you're tight defensively, everything else will fall into place, I think.
I
do you think,
absolutely agree with him. I think the defense is key to this team. Although, I don't think you're going to go very far in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They need to get better on the offense. They definitely need another scorer. But
where do
they're
you get that guy?
I
Who do you
don't
give up? And
know.
who do you give up for?
I don't
Jimmy,
know.
You know.
I don't know who you give up. I don't know how that person comes around, but they do need someone else to put the puck inside the net. Though I like their defense, and as much as people may not like Chara, he's still a force. He's still a force.
He's essential to this team.
It really is. I mean, there's no question about it. You know what? You hate to say it, but you know, people are all waiting for Frank Vetrano to come. But Vetrano's kind of a spark plug type of wing who may help out, you know, a centerman like Backus to get him that puck. You know what? I really liked Timmy Schuyler's play the last couple of games too. I thought he's played very well, and I liked him on that Marchand-Bergeron line. I mean, I can see what Julian's doing. He's playing around with lines, seeing what can tick, you know, what can really see who can put in the net. But I mean, Schuyler's playing better. These kids that are young are gonna get better, which is positive. But I think Jimmy brings up a good point. I mean, you know what? I understand. You can go back years from Kessel to Sagan. We had those guys, and you know what? They may have been pain in the butts, but you know what? You don't find guys that can pocket 40 goals in the NHL anymore. It's not.
Right.
It's not that type of game anymore. You know what? You're seeing a lot more 2-1, 3-2, 3-3, 4-3 shootout games, and you know what? If you don't have that guy who can, you know, if you don't have another Marchand, like Chicago has Taves and Kane, you know, those are the teams that they're gonna make it.
You're not comfortable with Pasternak?
Yeah,
I love Pasternak, but Pasternak couldn't play a lick of defense if you paid him another $1 million.
But he can but as far as scoring goals, he's going to score some
Yeah,
goals.
he's fine.
Yeah.
But,
And we could have
you
a
know,
whole show on what the heck happened to Sagan. Why did we get rid of him? Why did we get rid of Kessel? There's got to be, you know what? I still get angry about that.
Yeah.
These are guys that could put the puck in the net. And, you know, I know there's a
Because they didn't
system.
conform to Claude's way of
No,
playing.
that's right. There is-
Exactly.
There's a
Well,
system.
I mean, let's not.
But
let's-
it's still
let's-
angers you.
Let's put it all on the table. I mean, there's rumors about Sagan and what happened in
But there
you know,
was
in the-
rumors about Bergeron,
Yeah,
and
but-
they
yeah, but the
straightened
thing
that
with
situation
Sagan,
out.
Ronnie, the thing with Sagan, it actually did happen. So I mean, I'm
All right,
not-
what-
we're not gonna
what
say
did he
it.
do? What
You
did
know,
he
you know,
Well, it doesn't matter
it doesn't
anyways.
matter. It was in,
Doesn't
you know,
matter. The guy could still, he was a
in-house.
pure goal
It was
scorer
in it.
if they allowed him to be a goal scorer.
They
on
still
this
made
team.
the wrong move.
Yes, they did.
They made the wrong
Yeah.
move by letting him or him and his parents dictate that he was going to live alone in the city of Boston as an 18-year-older, rather doing what the Bruins had done with Patrice Bergeron and put him with Martin Lapointe.
You mean
back
what
in-
we would have done?
Exactly.
Us living in there?
So you're an
Maybe
18-year-old
you and
kid in
him,
the
but-
city of Boston. Geez, give me the lollipop now. Can I suck it?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Okay,
that
but
was
here's,
the biggest
but here's my,
mistake the Bruins
but-
ever
and
did.
I understand what you're saying now, but here's my problem.
Why are you
Here's
speaking,
my
by the
problem.
way? It's
I
5
had to
minutes
jump in because you guys are talking
I really
nonsense.
couldn't hold off.
You know, when
did.
you start,
He
listen,
couldn't hold off.
When you guys start talking nonsense, I got to jump in, okay? That's all. When you start talking nonsense, all right? Look at, first of all, they could have, yes, he was a mental case by himself. He was an 18-year-old kid making millions of dollars in the city of Boston, but they could have sat on him. They could have made that solution for him.
Right,
They could have
they did.
said, instead of just outright trading him because he's a lunatic and what he was doing, and the fact that he wasn't conforming to Claude's way of play because he's not a grinder, he's not a mucker, he's
Right.
a goal scorer. Look what he's doing out in
Well,
Dallas.
I blame the Bruins.
Okay.
I blame the Bruins for not seeing the future. The game has changed since
Exactly.
when he was here.
I'm-
now you need
look at-
him.
what
I
I'm
like
sa-
the show
but
when
my
it was
point is-
scandalous. here.
Listen,
No,
but
wait a
my
minute, let's
point-
get back to the scandal.
My point-
Let's get
my
back to the
point-
scandal.
My point I'm talking about is very simple
is
here.
a Kanye,
The Bruins gave
Kim
up.
type
They
of
gave up on him. They absolutely gave up on him.
I think you want ratings at this point.
All right.
Hey,
we got
couple of
it.
points,
All right,
couple of
you
points that
guys
you
are
guys made,
unbelievable.
okay? A couple of points that you two guys made, okay? First of all, number one, all right, look at Tuukka Rask is playing out, out of his
Like
shoes.
no.
Here he
Yeah.
goes. Here he
Tuukka
goes,
Rask
Rob.
is playing out of his shoes, okay? And he's not going to be able to do it the whole year. It's not going to happen. He's going to get hurt at some point. He's going to be out for 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, 2 or 3 games or whatever you want to call it, okay? That's just the way he is. He's not a 1.88 goals against average goalie. Eventually, the shoe's going to turn on him. And when it does, you're going to see the Bruins go right down the crapper. You guys are all right in your assessment that they have no goal scorers. Who can put the puck in the net? Look at, it's not the defense. It's not the goalies. Who can put the puck in the net? They've got 2 guys on that team right now that can put the puck in the net, and that's it.
Bergeron,
So you're going to
Bergeron.
need to find Bergeron. Bergeron needs to step up his game, okay? Without question.
will.
Is he
Thank
capable? Is he capable, Rob, of doing that? Sure he is.
What do you mean
okay?
step up his game?
He's going to step up his goal
Bergeron's
scoring.
playing well.
You need to be able to get more production out of him, period. I don't care about his defensive play, okay? That's all nice. But defensive play don't put the puck in the net. He needs to be able to put the puck in the net on a consistent basis.
But he's not going to turn
Chara,
into Cam
look
Neely
at,
over
I'm
there.
the biggest.
That's right,
I'm the biggest Chara hater. Okay,
That's
everybody
true.
knows that.
That's true.
I will give him credit. Okay, he's playing better defensively right now, but he's got zero use on offense. So why do we have to put him out on the power play when you've got other guys that can put the puck in the net? Okay, on the power play.
Why is Jimmy
Get
Hayes
Chara
on the
right
power
off the
play?
power play, okay? Get him out of there. He's not scoring goals. He's not the same Chara he used to be. First of all, keep him in the back, from the blue line back, he's okay. Anything from the blue line up, he can't play. It's that simple. He can't play, okay? The Bruins are not going to make the playoffs again this year. You're hearing it.
Oh,
They're
they're
not
in.
going to
They're
make the
making
playoffs, okay? They're
going
not
deep
going
this
to
year.
because they have to rely on that goalie. And that goalie is not a Tim Thomas. He's not going to have a Tim Thomas type season. He's
He
just
did it
not
in
capable.
2013.
What's that?
He did it in 2013.
In 2013, yeah.
You know I'm not a big Tuca fan, but he has the potential.
Did he take
he
him?
can play well.
Did they win the Stanley Cup in 2013?
They came within one game.
You imagine that?
I can't wait when you're off
Just
the
missed.
show.
Hey,
You know
just
that?
missed.
I can't wait
K
when
for,
you're off.
K for close for that, okay? K for close.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so no. Okay, that's my 2 cents worth on that. All right, Rob, always a pleasure. Listen, 2 weeks from now, you're going to be live in studio here. Okay,
2 weeks from now, okay.
we're gonna set that up because we want to have your ugly mug on this thing too.
Is
Because
$10,000
Look
enough
at-
for one night, Rob?
the caravan of
We'll
hosts.
talk about that.
The caravan of hosts to try to get rid of me is going to continue. Okay.
We're not stopping either, Rob.
He's not
We're
going to stop
stopping.
until he finds the right match. So, always a pleasure, Rob. Have a
Same
great
here. Thanks,
have a
fellas.
great week. Same time next week, okay, my friend?
Sounds good. Talk to you soon. Take care.
We'll see you.
Bye.
All right, we got a
bye-bye.
minute and a half. Celtics?
Do you want to talk about that rag-ad team?
I don't know. What,
No.
I feel like
can't.
I'm watching the
Listen,
same
I'd rather-
team than last year.
Listen, I'd rather go back and talk and finish up talking about the Patriots and the fact that give me a prediction on what you think is going to happen on Monday night.
24-21, Pats.
24-21, and why? Why do you feel that way?
Because I'm Johnny. I'm talking sports with Johnny.
27-18,
You are,
Patriots.
you are the glue that holds.
Can I
the
talk
show
about
together.
one thing we talked about?
Talk whatever you
Okay.
want to do, my friend. The next minute's yours.
All right, let me just tell you. The last couple weeks I've watched the Oakland Raiders. If you're a person who used to always watched football, you just love the Raiders.
That's my favorite team. as a
And
kid.
they've just stunk for so long. They got a team now. And that guy, Mack, on their defense,
Khalil
is
Mack.
Khalil
He's-
Mack.
absolutely.
He's so exciting to watch.
He's the only one they got.
He takes
Lawrence
over,
Taylor.
takes over the game.
It's like a Lawrence
Oh my
Taylor.
God,
he's,
he
the,
is.
he's the only one they got, though.
Yeah, I know,
Okay.
but you know what? Lawrence
Oakland
Taylor,
don't scare me as far as they can throw. Listen, first of all,
that
between
guy
Oakland,
scares
Kansas
the
City,
heck out of me.
him personally, but their whole defense between Oakland, Kansas City, and Denver in the next 4 weeks, they're all going to beat each other up. Okay?
Yeah, but look,
and
they've
you're not gonna worry
done
about
great
Oakland.
because they've got him, they got a scheme, they got a team, and they're running with a system, and they're all bought into it.
We'll see him in the AFC championship.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Hopefully we
That's
don't.
not bad. What we'll do
Look
is
at
we'll,
us,
we'll make
6
our
seconds.
predictions. But look at that's it. That's the way this show. Look at just like that. I told Jimmy just like that. All of a sudden, Jimmy Latham, our good friend, always a pleasure to have you. We'll have you back again. You're watching Talking Sports with Ronnie and Johnny here on Drake at Access TV every Wednesday night from 7 to 8. Guys,
He's done, right?
We'll see you next week. Okay. We'll see you, Jimmy. We'll see you.
All right.
Have a good week, guys.